Okay, in case you don't know, hi, my name is Akira Nursing, and I'm a grade 10 student from South Africa. And I've been using the first generation Apple Pencil in 2020. And well, I've been using it for school, but we haven't really been at school because of the whole pandemic. But I think it actually posted a lot of more use cases for the Apple Pencil first generation for students. And today I'm going to be going through all the best features of the Apple Pencil and why you should buy it. As usual, timestamps are going to be down below, so let's get straight into it. As for design, the first generation Apple Pencil is really aesthetic. Apple is really good with the industrial design and making things look very professional. It's pretty well thought out for the most part, but otherwise I think it's a really good design and it makes you feel like you are holding an actual pencil, which is the whole point. See, the Apple Pencil is made out of this really nice glossy plastic and it doesn't seem to scratch too often because it's white. It doesn't really show that much. So in terms of durability, it's pretty good. At the top of the Apple Pencil, you're going to find a metal ring with another plastic cap to cover the lightning connector which you use to charge the Apple Pencil. At the bottom of the Apple Pencil, you'll find a rubber tip which is replaceable, but for me, I found that it does not really wear that much unless you're an artist or taking a lot of notes on your Apple Pencil. After a couple of years, only then would you need to replace it, but it's like about $10–20 for a pack from Apple. You can screw off this rubber tip, which has a whole bunch of sensors and mechanisms that is used to track your writing and strokes on the Apple Pencil. Yeah, and the design just basically feels like you're writing with an actual pencil. Apple did an excellent job with the weighting and the size of it. I do feel though, for like a child to hold the Apple Pencil, it's a little bit big, but for most people, I don't think you're going to be a child that's going to be using a $100 stylus. So I think it's a really nice design and will help you writing day to day because it feels so good. Speaking of the weighting, another nice design touch is that, remember I talked about the metal strip from earlier on? Well, whenever you put the Apple Pencil down, it is weighted as such, so one, it does not roll off the table, and two, the Apple Pencil logo is always pointing up. Nice, Apple.
Oh, that's real nice.
Oh geez, and don't even get me started on the box with the Apple Pencil. It feels like you're opening the Queen's necklace box, whatever. It feels really premium. So when you open it for the first time, you're going to undo some wrapping and then you're going to be greeted with the usual Apple paperwork. Then underneath, you are going to find the Apple Pencil itself, and it also comes with a bunch of accessories, which is the charger and a spare nib. I don't have it, so I'll just try and put a picture up here somewhere, which you can see. It is also recyclable in the normal Apple fashion, and it is just so premium to touch, and it makes you really feel like your $100 was really well spent. After all, you are paying $100, so it better be good. Speaking of good, let's go on to the functionality of the Apple Pencil. And it has one function, and it does that one function insanely good. And that is just to write. The Apple Pencil does literally nothing else. You can't even navigate swiping home and switching between apps with an Apple Pencil. You have to use your fingers. The only tool it is used for is to write, and it does that insanely well. From annotating notes to signing documents to taking your own notes from class, it just feels so fluid and so functional, which is where Apple really excelled with this, and you're going to find it helping you so much in your workflow. Plus, with this new iOS 14 update, well, iPadOS 14 update, I now use a feature called Scribble, which I really love. I used to hate putting down my Apple Pencil to type something on a keyboard. Now you can just write it straight into the system and it will detect what you want. So if I wanted to use Scribble, all I do is I, for example, pull up Spotlight Search. From there, I can easily write in whatever note I've taken earlier that day. So for example, let's do my physics notes. The Apple Pencil then automatically detects that I wrote out physics notes, and then it will very simply bring up the note that I wrote earlier that day. It's now really easy to write, erase, edit, and add more text using an Apple Pencil, something that I really like when quickly editing notes or Word documents. It has been a pretty nice experience editing documents. Yeah, so as I said earlier, it really does feel like you're writing on paper, and it's extremely responsive even on what I'm using currently, the iPad 7th generation, which has a 60Hz screen, which means that it's not as responsive compared to the iPad Pros, which are at 120Hz. Either way, the Apple Pencil has a 9-millisecond response time, which means that you will basically not be able to see a delay between you writing and that writing popping up on your screen. It's an extremely natural experience. It's an extremely natural experience. On the topic of iPads, let's just quickly go over the compatibility. So the Apple Pencil is only compatible with the iPad 6th generation and later, and the iPad Pro 1st generation and 2nd generation. The Apple Pencil 1st gen is not compatible with the iPad Pros 3rd and 4th generation. There's a lot to take in, but you can check out the full compatibility list on Apple's website, linked down below, to see if your iPad is compatible. So moving on to note-taking, and as I said before, the Apple Pencil has such a natural writing experience that I have moved completely to digital note-taking using the Apple Pencil. I feel it's excellent for just banging out to-do lists and creating schedules, and the Apple Pencil and in general crossing out a to-do list at the end of the day just feels so satisfying, and the Apple Pencil is a great tool for doing that. And obviously note-taking. So I use the Apple Notes, the stock Apple Notes app, for the basic-ish note-taking that I do, and with the iPadOS 14 update, Apple came out with a bunch of new updates that really helped make my notes look a lot better. So using Scribble that I mentioned earlier on, I'm able to quickly just grab a note that I was looking for earlier and just immediately go straight into it. If I also want to quickly take a note and I don't really have time to unlock my iPad and go into the Notes app, I can quickly tap on the lock screen with my Apple Pencil, and then a note just is ready there just to start taking notes on. That's a pretty cool feature. So yeah, the new update is excellent for taking new notes, and this new feature called Snap to Shapes. Well, I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what I'm calling it. So essentially what it is, if you had to draw a circle, for example, if you had to draw something remotely like a circle, it will then snap into a perfect circle shape once you have held on the screen for about a second or so. I also enjoy the pressure and tool sensitivity, which I use a lot in terms of highlighting my notes. And in this case, where I'm trying to differentiate between the protons and neutrons in the nucleus of this atom. Sorry, I got scientific. But yeah, why would I want to use an Apple Pencil and an iPad when I could just use my regular piece of paper and pen? Well, I'm glad you asked, Jeff. Here's why. This is the amount of work and notes that I have gathered throughout the past year, which was 2019. So my question to you is pretty simple. Would you rather have this behemoth of notes that you have to manage and find storage for, and this excludes textbooks, by the way, or would you rather have something that is less than about a centimeter or half an inch for you Americans out there, thin, for you to manage and carry around everywhere? Plus, if this blows up, you don't have the cloud to access it on a different laptop or some form of phone, which I normally use on a regular basis with my iPad and Apple Pencil, which is all in one neat package. Second is that your notes look a lot better and they're a lot easier to change. Keyword there being change. If you had to just add in a little section to your notes, or even just a little PS or NB in some of your regular notepads that you might have, it sometimes can be a bit hard because there might not be enough space, or there's just no way to put it because you've already got so many notes there. I guess that's the same thing, you don't have any space. So with the Apple Pencil, you can actually move down your writing or any other drawing that you might have to create more space for more notes in the middle of your notes, instead of cutting out with a scissor and then sticking it into your notebook or just rewriting the notes all over again. That is a pretty quick time saver and something that really helps boost my productivity. So all around, Apple has just made this stylus such a natural experience and will easily surpass any note-taking experience that you'll find on a regular schmegular notebook compared to the Apple Pencil and an iPad. In terms of daily use and battery life, living with the Apple Pencil on the daily is decently a pleasant experience. So in terms of charging, it's a 10-minute charge, which for me lasts me about 1 to 2 weeks, maybe about 1.5. Apple doesn't really have an official rating on their website, but about 2 weeks sounds pretty good to me. Also, if your Apple Pencil does die and you don't end up seeing it on the widget on the new iPadOS 14, you can actually charge the Apple Pencil for 15 seconds and that will last half an hour. My only design flaw that I found with this, which is possibly the biggest design flaw in everything they fixed with the 2nd gen Apple Pencil, was the cap, the method of charging, and how you carry it on the daily. So in terms of the cap, it's a detachable, magnetically detachable cap, and it's pretty easy to lose, and Apple does not actually sell replaceable caps for the Apple Pencil. You can find third-party caps, but you can't really buy another cap for this. The other thing is that in terms of charging, you have to plug your Apple Pencil into your iPad. And the problem with that is that, for one, you have to detach your pencil cap, which you could lose. And the other thing is that if someone had to walk by, they could snap off your Apple Pencil from your iPad. That won't be really good. The other problem was carrying the Apple Pencil to school or wherever you need to go to. The Apple Pencil does not magnetically attach to the iPad like the new iPad Pros. And that's obviously something that Apple has found and fixed with the new iPads. But for this one here, you can't really attach it to the iPad. However, all of those problems have pretty much been solved with the case that I got on Amazon. This is not sponsored, but it's a case from DTTO, DTTO, and I found this to be a really awesome case because it has a holder for your pencil and your iPad, and it has a little holder for your cap while you're charging so you don't lose it. And it is a pretty cool case in general. It's got this really cool origami design which you can have in portrait and landscape. Portrait's pretty important because you're going to be using a lot of textbooks which are mostly in a portrait orientation. So if you are considering this, an iPad with a DTTO case is something you should get. I'll leave a link to that down below. This is not sponsored, but it's a really cool case. So is the Apple Pencil worth it? Yes, but it does depend on the type of student you are. See, for myself, I'm pretty techie. As you can see, I have a tech YouTube channel, and if you're not that way inclined, for one, you might battle to use technology, and if there's like some weird bug or you don't know how to use something, you might not really be able to get around that because you're not that experienced. The other thing is, can you afford it? The Apple Pencil is $100 and has not really gone on sale for the past year or so, but this is something you should consider. Here's why. The average nice notebook in South Africa with a pen is around about $7. So depending on the number of subjects you're taking, you'd have to times that number by the amount of subjects. So in my case, I'm taking 7 subjects. Now I'm left with $7 times 7, which is $49. Now, the average-ish first time someone will spend in university or high school is about 4 to 5 years. So let's just work with 5. If we had to times 49 by 5, we are left with $245. So our geeky tech guy who's using an Apple Pencil, his Apple Pencil cost is $100 compared to the guy who's going old school, quite literally, with his notebook is at $244. So yeah, in the long term, the Apple Pencil is actually a really good deal, especially because Apple is really good in terms of updating their devices and getting more features. I've only had the Apple Pencil for about a year now, and I've already got such a huge update, which was iPadOS 14, which I just kind of highlighted earlier on. So your note-taking experience is only going to get better from the moment you buy it. So that's not really going to happen if you have a general notebook and pen. In that way, I find an Apple Pencil is insanely worth it and something you should really consider getting. So in that case, the Apple Pencil is definitely worth it. It will change your experience in the way in which you take notes, and your studies will probably be a lot more fun and just a lot more intuitive to use in the day-to-day. And for that reason, you should get an Apple Pencil. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.